Okay gang, this is your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, and I'm going to show you the rest of this room. As I promised, I'm embarrassed, but let's just say that we've been stuck in this tiny room working on various businesses for 13 years, and there is not much room for all the paperwork, etc., etc. There we go. Here's my mess over here. There's your computer system that runs the entire show. The desk, microphone, printer is actually not functional, and all the other crap that has accumulated over these years. Now, that mess on the floor is recent, only because of the new system that came in, moving stuff off the desk. But the bookshelves and all that, and all the junk that's been in here since before I arrived, tons of stuff, and all of it, plus what's behind here, all of it must go. Every single bit of it. We're going to completely change this room 110%. Work lights, empty cat litter bins to put my teleprompter up there, which is my old laptop, etc., etc. So, yep, major facelift coming up now, folks. So I promised you I'd show you this, and it's a wreck. So, lots and lots of garbage bags, lots of throwing stuff away that really needs to have been thrown away ages ago. Keeping the stuff that's valuable, you know, like the original Windows files, Windows books, ancient stuff like that. But duplicates, folders that aren't being used in the business anymore, their contents, trash, rubbish, gone, gone, gone. Anything I can still use for the business, of course, I'll hold on to. We'll just put it somewhere else for now. All right. So, you've seen the deluge, the horrible mess. Now we're going to start cleaning it up. Okay, folks, this is the end of Sunday here. And you can see a major change. The bookcase is all gone. 90% of the junk is gone out. Obviously, it still looks a little messy, but we've completely gone through that closet and have found some treasures, too, which I'll mention on the show when we come back online. But things are getting there, slow but sure. Here's the system that actually runs the stream. Can you imagine that? Sitting here like, oh, the modem got knocked over. Not good. A lot of pressure on the cables there. Anyway, we'll get that all fixed. This will shortly have wheels on it, this desk, so I can move it around. We got rid of this whole ton of stuff. Now, the rest of the house is looking a little crowded because the stuff's got to go somewhere temporarily. But we threw away probably 80% of the old paperwork that we came across, etc. So it's a tremendous improvement, to say the least. We're getting there, one step at a time. By tomorrow, this place will be looking pretty darn good, and that wall should be green. Okay, folks, here it is, just a little bit after noon on Monday, and we've got everything out of here of major importance in this office. And now I can start actually prepping the room for studio itself. Your bookcases are where they need to be. Major improvement, and everything in here is fairly neat too. Much better than it was. All the filing cabinets are put away, etc., etc. Won't talk about the rest of the house. Got a little cluttered, but I'll be going through that and getting rid of a huge majority of things over the next couple months in that regard. So, but the important part is the room. Now, I'm going to be doing conduit for all of this wiring, bringing it down. This goes all the way to my father's bedroom. That's what's feeding him his data. But that's going to come down here. I've got another line coming in behind the bookcase here that's going to be conduited. And it's all going to come over here. Then I have an umbilical for the table, which is on caster wheels, that I'll be able to move around for the show. Its normal place will be right here, of course, against the wall. And we'll be getting rid of the sewing machine table here shortly. And eventually our beautiful new server system will be properly and safely stored in its own case. A 900D, hopefully, too. We shall see. Anyway, so we've come a long way. This wall will be all green. Maybe part of this wall will, but we won't do that. We won't, like, do the door or one of the doors over there until we get past our initial testing. Got some adhesive to take off here, a couple of spots to clean up. Other than that, the wall looks good. And this is part of the DIY test rig, test platform we'll be putting together, and there'll be a video on that too eventually. Let's see, a little bit of a mess here right now, a little bit of a mess on the shelves here, but that'll all be cleaned up as I finish getting all this organized. The books that need to be put in other places. Want to make this office, this studio production room, perfect for exactly its intent, which is making great streaming. And with things the way they are, I'll be able to do that. So, now with my large material green background, I could throw that over the top of this table and then put any type of table I want in its place in show, which would be kind of cool. Having that type of capability allows you to do all types of things similar to that. Excuse my disheveled look in my sweaty shirt. But yeah, we got a long way done. We're going to go to the store now, grab the poor man's chroma paint, and we shall go from there. So, we're doing pretty good. About a day behind where I want it to be. Still, we've done a good job. Onwards and upwards. All right, folks, this is Wednesday morning. In fact, it's almost 11 o'clock already. Much later in the game than I wanted to be, almost 2 days behind. Still, you saw the before images. Now here's the after images. Here's my green screen wall. And please forgive the lousy quality of this 1080p camera. This is how bad a GoPro is when it doesn't have a lot of light. So, okay, you see I conduited everything. And these will be painted white except for the green screen portions that you see there. Eventually. It's not critical right now to get going. It's not going to hurt the production, etc., etc. Again, this is the entire server right here. Sitting as it is. I just added another 2 terabyte hard drive to it recently. An older drive that I need to clean junk off of, but that won't be hard to do. See, I have outlets for when this desk is in its standard work mode, which is against this wall. The server will eventually be in its box and attached to these legs down below. The RTMP server, which is this older unit I have here, which still has a Xenon 3.5 gigahertz processor in it, will be attached to this side. Now, I'm hoping that machine will have enough. It's 5 years old, so that processor with its system board may not be the right solution. We'll find out. We'll see. Most of that paperwork should be up here, I believe, is where I put it. So we can go over that later. Anyway, you see, everything is out of here. I've got a shelf here, and eventually another shelf will be above this that will hold a Drobo backup system. Now, this right now is not fastened or secured in any way. We've got some other bracing that's going to go in. I might also make it a little thicker so it can hold some wires inside. Then there'll be another piece that comes down here and covers up any type of wiring there in the room too. So most of my production obviously will be at the desk sitting facing outward from this locale. And or with my desk back over here, I can do all types of other special effects, etc. with whatever cameras I do or don't have. Right now, the only camera I do have, see, this is to keep the NSA from watching us, is my my Logitech 920C, I think it is, which is a great little camera. And I've got a very long extension cord. Now, what I did to make this easy so I can move the desk around all over the creation is I only have 3 umbilicals here. I have the monitor, I have my hub, which is attached to the desk, and I have my audio headphones. Other than that, the only thing I need to unplug is power, and the power goes right here, which is actually designed to be under the desk. Ooh, I might have had that a little too high. Yes, I do. Anyway, we'll fix that, and then go from there. So, yeah. What was I thinking of? Yeah, that all works. That all works. So I can lower that a little bit and we'll be good to go. And this whole desk will be gone. This is a sewing table, actually. Will be gone also, and all this will be encapsulated. We'll take this off because this is so big it actually covers up the memory slots here. And so big it takes up a slot here, as you can see, for an additional card. So this can eventually hold 4 cards in it. Whether we ever want to do that or not is another issue. Okay, anyway, enough of that. So big change to the room. It's immaculate and compared to what it was. Still needs a little work. Here's some, here you go, the original X-Wing versus TIE Fighter video. I also had a really cool game called Earth 2150. Then StarCraft. The original StarCraft, which is still a lot of fun. So I had some old cards there, old modems when the N1 first came out. Age of Sail was a lot of fun. I also had a Myst back in the 90s, if you folks are... And this was one of the very first Microsoft games to ever come out. It was called Bang Gunship Elite. So I have that. This was way before the PlayStations and all that garbage that came out in the 90s, too. A lot of the... This is all gear for the new system. That I had previously. That's also an old card, like this one. Of course, my EVGA cards, power supply, Blu-ray record, who I've still yet to put a movie in today. The GoPro camera, which is what you're watching this on right now. And my Intel Core processor, the way too big overclock fan to be replaced by a Corsair water-cooled system. My 2 Corsair Neutron drives, which are going to be 480s soon. And my 32 gigabytes of RAM, and the 2 controllers which run all this, and my piece of junk dumb smartphone. Okay, like I said, it's going to be the future RTMP server. We should be okay with it. I'd like to be able to get the wheels on that, but they're just too tiny for carpet. I might have to look up something different, one of my manufacturing firms that I've dealt with in the past, and go from there. So that's basically it. I've got a way too noisy fan. My studio lights will be right here along this wall, along with our very nice tripod system. Well, okay tripod system. to do the show. So with this in mind, I've got the basics to be able to do a lot more than I've ever done before, and we'll see how it works out. Bye. Oh, good God, just stop. Okay, here is the room lit as it's supposed to be. Well, still need to work a lot on lighting because this wall is supposed to have no shadow. So eventually I'll be buying a whole bunch of little spots for the top here that'll just wash the wall down with the proper level of lighting. But you can see the room's empty except for those things I'm using for the broadcast. So we've come a long way, baby. Long way. Only functional items are in here, well, except some show and tell for the shelving, of course. But most only functional items for the show. The piping will be painted white eventually, as I think I mentioned beforehand. And I have a pretty good area here with which to work. See my older monitor there. Been working fine, knock on wood, for the last, gosh, 4 or 5 years now. Has to be entering, at least the power supply has to be entering its end of life. Good Panamax surge suppressor units, a stationary spot for all the modems at all times, and I can move the desk around any way I like to give lots of different room for all types of filming. There's my little webcam on there, the tripod, hopefully someday replaced with a couple very nice cameras, 4K even, to take care of the mess out. The fan makes too much noise. The system makes too much noise, but there are ways to eliminate that from audio tracks, which I am fairly versed at. So there you have it, folks. The new Portal TV Studio as she stands. This green does not work very well, so I will eventually have to buy the more expensive stuff. This was just a $20 can of paint, 3 coats. It does work, but it needs a heck of a lot more lighting, a heck of a lot more than what I have at the moment, or can afford at the moment. But we'll get there. It's all one step, eh? Well, that's all I got, folks. Adios, muchachos. Okay, boys and girls, this is how the show actually runs. As you can see, this is the lighting for the show. Oh, work light back there. I need to square up that top piece. And this is my tripod, my DIY tripod here. Very simple. All I have is a couple clamps, some rigid connections to hold my laptop. It's not a real teleprompter. I meant teleprompter, not tripod. My little dust is still flying around here from all the work. My very nice laptop, the one that could not do the show, and my very, very simple teleprompter. Now, eventually I'll build a real teleprompter, which is, of course, a 50% piece of mirrored glass. But for now, my laptop works just fine. Once I get that will be our second server, our TMP server. That's a case I built about 5 years ago, real nice. I just need to make sure the system board is the proper type for me to do what I need to do. So let's see, that's the server that runs the entire show. And so we're ready to rock and roll finally, folks. We're going to do this, and I need to record SciTech episode number 46. I'm going to do it right now, and we'll be with you later on today. Today is Monday, the 16th of June, 2014. Catch you later.